Look around you at everything that's orange. That vibrant sunset, flickering flames, a tiger's stripes, delicate marigolds. Now imagine a time when this color had no name. Because for most of human history, it didn't. Before the fruit gave us its name, people struggled to describe this vibrant hue. It was yellow-red, saffron, or sometimes just red. This is the curious case of how a simple fruit named a color, and changed how we see the world. In Old English, there was no word for orange. The earliest known English work about colors, written in the year 1075, simply described it as yellow-red. Germanic languages called it geel rod. The Romans had no specific word for it either. Artists had the pigments. They could create the color using minerals and plants. They painted stunning orange sunsets and autumn landscapes. But when it came to describing their work, they lacked the precise vocabulary we take for granted today. But here's something even more surprising: the first oranges weren't even orange. Wild oranges, native to Southeast Asia, were actually green. The same bright, leafy green as the trees they grew on. The fruit began its journey around 4,000 years ago, traveling along ancient trade routes from Southeast Asia to India, then to Persia. Persian merchants called it narang, derived from the Sanskrit word naranga. As cultivated oranges spread through different climates, farmers began selecting fruits that developed that distinctive bright color we know today. In warmer regions, oranges still naturally stay green. Their familiar orange hue is actually an adaptation to cooler temperatures. By the time the fruit reached medieval Europe, it brought its name with it. The Persian, narang, became the Old French, orange, and finally the English, orange. Only after the fruit became well known did people begin using its name to describe the color. The fruit was so precious that wealthy Europeans built special greenhouses called orangeries. And gradually, something remarkable happened. People began using the fruit's name to describe anything of that vibrant yellow-red hue. For the first time in English history, this color had its own name. But here's a fascinating detail. Even today, many oranges in tropical regions remain green when ripe. The orange color we associate with ripeness is actually just a seasonal response to cold. Those green oranges in tropical markets, they're just as sweet and ripe as their orange counterparts. The transformation of orange from a fruit's name to a color word was gradual but revolutionary. One of the earliest documented uses comes from the royal courts, when in 1502, the word was used to describe fine fabrics prepared for Princess Margaret Tudor's marriage to King James IV of Scotland. That such an early recorded use appears in royal records shows just how prestigious both the color and the fruit had become. Before this, artists and writers had to resort to complicated descriptions like saffron-hued or yellow-reddish. What makes this especially fascinating is how rare it is for a fruit to name its color. We don't describe things as banana, colored, or call purple grape. In fact, it's the other way around. We say red apple, yellow banana, or purple grape. Orange stands nearly alone in this linguistic feat. The pattern repeated across Europe. In Spanish, naranja became both fruit and color. In Italian, arancia. In each case, the fruit named the color, not the other way around. This ripple effect changed how people across continents described their world. For artists, this new word was particularly valuable. Instead of mixing yellow-red, or trying to describe that specific hue, they could now simply say orange. It standardized color communication in a way that had never existed before. The impact of having a specific word for orange went far beyond just naming a color. It began to take on deep cultural significance. In Buddhism, orange robes symbolize enlightenment. In Hindu traditions, it represents fire and purity. In the Netherlands, orange became a national color, named for their royal house of Orange, which, ironically, was named after a place in France, which was named after the orange trees that grew there. Today, Dutch sports teams are known as the Oranje. The color psychology of orange has become crucial in modern marketing. Companies use it to convey energy, enthusiasm, and affordability. Think of Home Depot's bright orange logo, or Amazon's orange arrow suggesting movement and positivity. And here's something remarkable: while orange is relatively rare in nature outside of sunsets and autumn leaves, humans have embraced it enthusiastically. From safety vests to traffic cones, we've made orange the universal color of visibility and caution. So the next time you describe something as orange, remember, you're using a word that traveled across continents, transformed from a fruit to a color, and changed how humans communicate about the world around them. Sometimes the simplest things, like naming a color after a fruit, can have the most profound and lasting impact.